Despite the state of emergency in Texas, many college students experienced their first snow day on campus.
A new vaccine super site is now open in LA County. Find out what makes this new location different from the rest.
And New Orleans residents get creative and find a way to celebrate Fat Tuesday without parades. Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Hey, hang on.
Can someone? Hey,
I'm taking the video.
Okay, well, I need to see her, so
Some people are finding ways to enjoy the deep freeze sweeping the country, from Texas all the way to Maine. Since the start of the storm last week, 23 people have been killed and millions of Americans are without heat and power. Good evening, I'm Cambri Guest reporting from Los Angeles.
And I'm Noah Camras, also reporting from Los Angeles. The Midwest is experiencing record low temperatures that have dipped to 20 below zero. More than 9 inches of snow blanketed the state of Michigan, forcing residents to plow sidewalks and driveways. Hundreds of schools were forced to cancel because of blackouts and freezing temperatures. A tornado tore through a North Carolina seaside town, killing 3 and injuring nearly a dozen more. There was virtually no warning for residents who got word of the tornado after it had already hit the town. In Texas, record low temperatures have left millions of residents without power. At least 9 people have died in car crashes, house fires, and from carbon monoxide poisoning. 3 students today told us about power outages, slippery roads, and confusing messages from their schools.
My block is the only block in Fort Worth that hasn't lost power. We just kind of lucked out. Most people lost power at like 5 a.m. yesterday and still have it gone, which is like their water heaters and everything, which totally stinks, but most of the stores are still open. Most of them don't have power, but people are able to go get groceries and stuff.
I mean, for the most part, people aren't driving or taking, like, there's no Ubers available also. So if anybody does need to drive, we have anybody has a bigger car with 4-wheel drive, we'll go pick them up or something and just drive slowly.
At first, it was up to the teacher's discretion. And people were really frustrated about that because they're like, I literally can't get on Zoom and I can't do any of this. They finally just said last night, it was at 10:15 or something, that all classes Tuesday, Wednesday are canceled and online classes are canceled too.
Another storm is expected to hit 115 million residents from Texas all the way to Massachusetts over the next 2 days.
2 vaccination sites opened in California today, one at Cal State LA. The goal is to vaccinate up to 6,000 people per day. This site, unlike others, can be reached by public transport or walking, making it more accessible to local residents.
There are many people in the East Los Angeles, Boyle Heights, western part of the San Gabriel Valley who are transit dependent, either because they're elderly and don't drive anymore or just because of their income. They don't own a car. This is an opportunity to use the public transit that exists already to economically get to this location to have a life-saving vaccination.
The other vaccination site, run by the state and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, is up in the Bay Area in Alameda County. The site is at the Oakland Coliseum. Officials hope to vaccinate up to 6,000 people every day.
This is what this site is all about. It's proximate to a community that has been disproportionately impacted by this pandemic. The effort here is to address that issue forthrightly.
LA County elementary schools have been cleared to reopen because cases of COVID-19 have met the state threshold for 5 consecutive days. But teachers are saying, not so fast.
I think there's a huge miscommunication because our union would never vote for us to go back right now. With a school of 600, let's say 700 children, it's really hard in the cafeteria and other places to keep them apart. So out of my personal classroom, 9 of my students have had COVID and their entire families. I think that as soon as they get every single teacher vaccinated, that's when we should go back.
This afternoon, Public Health Director Barbara Ferrer presented the county directives for on-site learning. These include review and approval of campus safety plans before reopening, masking and social distancing protocols, increased testing, and the continuation of distance learning for those who want to stay home.
In order for school staff, teachers, parents, and students to feel supported in their return to the classroom, we each need to continue to do our part to keep COVID-19 transmission low. As we wait for more vaccinations, please follow the rules and use all the tools we have to keep ourselves and others as safe as possible from becoming infected.
The first school-based vaccination site opens in LA this week. The superintendent says the district needs 25,000 vaccinations for elementary school teachers.
Millions of people across the country are now waiting for a stimulus package to soften the economic blow of COVID-19. Our political correspondent Emily Bonilla has more on negotiations in Washington.
With Donald Trump's impeachment trial no longer a distraction, President Joe Biden is working toward full approval of his $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill. We spoke with a local dance teacher about what the future stimulus check means to her.
I have not seen a student since mid-March in person. So it was very devastating, both emotionally and financially. I have since started to teach a little bit online, but it has not at all matched the income that I had prior to the pandemic. The stimulus would literally go to a month of our mortgage, which is, because we can't lose our home. So I'm really happy that we have a new president with a current administration that actually cares about the people.
If the relief bill is passed, families making less than $150,000 would receive direct payments of up to $1,400 per person. An additional $1,400 would be added for every child dependent. Unemployment benefits expire in March, marking nearly 1 year since the nation's first shutdown. The House is expected to bring the proposal to a vote the week of February 22nd. Any final package is expected to be signed by President Biden in mid-March.
USC Athletics released its coronavirus testing numbers today from the spring sport restart process. Hi, I'm Nathan Ackerman with Annenberg Media Sports, reporting from Los Angeles. USC gave almost 5,700 coronavirus tests to student athletes in all 21 sports from December 28th to February 14th. There were 47 positives, and most were early in the entry process. Only 4 were within the last 14 days. All students who tested positive have recovered. USC soccer won its season opener over BYU on Monday with an overtime game winner in the Trojans' first game since 2019. In a battle of top 15 programs, the contest lived up to its billing. Senior forward Tara McKeown picked up right where she left off more than a year ago, scoring twice for the Trojans. The teams combined for 5 second-half goals before graduate forward Jennifer Westendorf iced it in overtime.
It was a bit rusty, but hey, after being off for so long, it was great to get the first one under our belt, and we've got a little bit to work on, but I'll take it.
After the long wait to get back on the pitch, USC will go 11 days before its next matchup against Arizona State. But the win over the Cougars will certainly make that layoff easier.
The USC men's basketball team continues to dominate as they swept their Washington road trip this weekend 2-0. They're ranked 17th in this week's AP poll and are off to their best start since 1992. But the big story is Evan Mobley. Mobley has just won his 6th Freshman of the Week award. They may as well name the award after him at this point. Mobley averaged 18.5 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 blocks this week. He sounds like your typical big man, but check out this play as Mobley uses his quick first step to blow past the defender for the slam. Evan even showed chemistry with his brother Isaiah Mobley on this beautiful ball movement. As for Mobley's comments,
it's a great win. We just got to keep going. We're number 1 right now, and we just want to keep the flow.
All right, let's bring in my co-anchor, Nathan Ackerman. Nathan, what do you think about USC's chances to win the Pac-12 this year?
Well, as of now, it seems like it's pretty much a 3-team race between USC, UCLA, and Oregon, because every other team in the Pac-12 has at least 5 losses. So USC, obviously in first place right now, seems to be sitting in the driver's seat. And it seems like if we're going by winning percentage, it's going to come down to the final USC versus UCLA game on March 6th in Westwood. And barring something unforeseeable in the games leading up to that, which can certainly happen in the Pac-12, it seems like USC should be able to get the job done if they can take care of the Bruins in the regular season finale.
Wow, thank you for breaking that down for us, Nathan. It really seems like that game between USC and UCLA could have massive implications if it wasn't interesting enough already. That's all for sports as we toss it back to news.
The French Quarter is unusually quiet this year due to the ban on Mardi Gras parades and liquor sales.
Our local bar that everyone goes to, the Boot, is also closed, and it for the boot to be closed on Mardi Gras is like absurd. It's crazy. Like, it's unheard of. People are finding their own ways to like have fun, but I know there's also a lot of suspensions going around at Tulane. They're very strict about it, which is like understandable. All along St. Charles, the houses have gotten all of these things that are normally on floats. So it's like these giant sculptures and all these colors. The houses become the parade floats. So it's really cool to watch and walk down.
No, I don't know about you, but I grew up in Oklahoma, so Mardi Gras has always been something on my bucket list, but I've just never gotten to experience it. And so hopefully whenever we're back in normal times, I'll get to experience it for myself.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've always wanted to go, and this year it's a little different, but it still sounds as exciting as any year to go with their new Mardi Gras. So maybe I'll be able to go next year. That's it for Annenberg TV News. Thanks so much for watching.
And from all of us at Annenberg Media, have a great night.